And we are live. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on today's webinar with no other than Erin Jimenez, the founder of Cloudmattr. Cloudmattr is a platform that can help centralize your company's feedback and documentation process and so much more. And I know that some of you are already using Cloudmattr and probably want to know more about its features, or you want to clarify on some of its features. Well, no worries, we've got you covered. And for those of you who might be new and are watching this, it's a great time to sit back, relax, and take some time to learn more about Cloudmattr with the man himself, Aaron Jimenez. So he's going to give us an in-depth walkthrough of Cloudmattr. So without further ado, everyone, please give Aaron a warm welcome. And it's nice to meet you again, Aaron.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Sorry. So I wanted to start real quick with giving a quick overview again of like all the things that it's that we're working on or that we already have.
Yeah.
Obviously right now, let me just pull this up and start sharing my screen.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to
To
visualize.
visualize them. Yes.
Yeah. So one sec again. Share. Um, okay. Let me know you can. Oh wait, sorry, one more. Sorry, I haven't used this platform since last time.
It's okay.
All right.
It's still
Let
not
me know
popping
you
up.
can
Okay,
see.
there we go.
Okay, perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. So, this is kind of the dashboard. Once you start actually using it and get building up users, events being tracked, all that kind of stuff. So, I'll start from the beginning. We have different sections of like I want to go over like a real overview of like how everything works together. So we have the collect side of things where you can start gathering all this data that you're seeing in the spreadsheet and the dashboard. So here you have all the events that we're tracking right now. Emails clicked, your trials. Some of them are automated through the API. Some of them are through Cloudmattr, and some of them can be from an integration. So one of the things is like, we have the server side API, for example, we're tracking like how many people sign into the app, how many people sign up, how many, people do roadmaps are created or boards or submissions, all that kind of stuff. Then we have the client side of tracking where you can, set this up through GTM, which we have in documentation how to set that up. So right now, if you can see here that one of the events is link clicked. We have that already. That's through GTM. I set this up through GTM. So whenever you click one of these links, this is already being tracked, and we pass properties like the link text or something like that. And you can see all this, and we can go over this real quick in events later on. And then here on the bottom, we're still working on the reporting piece. So right now it's just a dashboard that we're really adding reports on, and then this is just kind of like where what time your events are happening. So it's a heat map of all the events by the times that they're happening. So right now, this is like around the time apparently that a lot of people will click a link for some reason. And then the next piece that we're going to be working on after the checklist that we're planning on releasing next week, which I can go over a little bit about later on, is the user journeys. So we can see like where people start, which obviously is going to be a sign up, and then from there seeing their journeys. Like the majority of people are like going to create a project, and if you're Asana, you sign up and then you go and you create a task or something like that, or you invite a user and you can start seeing the user journeys in a visual way. So that's also something that we'll be adding to the dashboard. And then another piece of what I want to like go over like is the targeting piece. Rather than building out lists where you're like, okay, well, I want to move one user from one list to the other. Let's say they're the new user list, and then now I'm going to move them to the onboarded list, and then from there I'm going to move them to the purchased list. Instead of doing that, because it's really a pain to be um, building out all these like flow charts or flows, and then moving them from one, and then okay, if they do this, move them to this list. If they do this, move them to this list. If they don't do this, then leave them there. Rather than doing that, we have dynamic segmentation where like if they automatically do something, you already make that they'll leave that segment, or they'll be on a different segment if they did something like that. So, for example, so maybe this is a good piece. So now I can kind of go over the segmentation part of piece because I want to like build up from. So we'll just do a new segment so I can like visualize that. So for example, here we can do let's say purchased, and then we can do over I don't know over $500. So over yeah, so we can like let's say we want to target like the high end purchasers, so we can target them for a certain activation campaign. So here we say, and then we say, okay, we want to target also people that, or we don't have to, but if they have a bunch of different properties like role, a company name or something like that, we can target that. But let's say we wanted to really just go after like people that contains, and then we can do at Google.com. Let's say for some reason we want to target Google employees, so we do something like this, and then here in the event conditions, or we can add another condition here if you want to like get more granular here, or you can remove it if you really don't want to do any user conditions. So user conditions is like user properties, right? Age, if you had that, for example, then you could say more than like if you wanted to get people over 18 years old. Not that you would have 11-year-old leads, but you could do more than 40 years old for whatever reason you want to do that. So we can just do contains here, and then here, we would say, okay, well, we want to have, so we're looking for purchasers over 500. We could say, okay, well, let's do. I mean, I guess I don't have a. I can do subscription started, but I don't have a purchase event. But let's say we want to do that something like that, and then let's say we want to do event property. And the problem is I don't have a purchase a revenue, right? But let's just pretend this says revenue, and then we would say, okay, well, now this is you know more than or equals to, and then we just do 500. Um, so yeah, just ignore that part. But yeah, so this would be okay. Now we have a segment that will automatically pull in users that work for Google and have that their purchase was more than $500. In the again subscription is a purchase, and then here the property would be like revenue, or whatever you want, gross revenue or whatever you want to use. And then that would pull in all the people automatically as soon as you create the segment. And this is really the piece that kind of ties everything together. Since segments are being used for campaigns, it'll also be used for the checklist so that you can like onboard new users. Let's say we wanted to do instead, new onboarded users. There here we would say, okay, well, let's just remove. We don't need conditions at all, since we just want to pull in new users, and now we want to do sign up. And that's it, right? And then we just clear this up. We don't need any of this. And now any new user will just get pulled into the, let's say, the onboarding campaign, and if you have a campaign like we do here, we already have one here for that. And then for the checklist, like again, I can't visualize that yet because it's in progress. But once if you're familiar with like app queues or something like that, where they have onboarding checklists, you could activate that in for users, for all new users. And then if you wanted to get more granular and say, okay, well, I want to use only users that are industry B2B, you could use a different checklist for B2B than if you have a B2C segment, and then send them different information, different campaigns, different everything really. So you can really get granular in the segmentation here. And that's kind of one of the things that the targeting that I kind of mentioned. The relevant messaging that you can do with just being targeted in who you're messaging to, but not just that, but also the personalization part of piece of things. Where you can use liquid templates, um, and we have the triggers. So for example, let's say go. So we can go here, and let's go here, and then we can do. I don't know, let's do that. And so I'll go over the in-app right now real quick. But yeah, let's just go with this, and we'll just do recurring. So I think the last time I went over this, we have all the different types of campaigns right now. And then we have campaign formats. This last time we had a call. So before we only had email, now we have in-app. So a little prop pops up. So you can, let people give them a new update when they log into your app or your website if they have a login functionality. So in this case, I'll just go over the email piece. And then here again, we have the event that what's going to trigger this campaign. Let's just go with I'll sign up again. And then again here we have the if you want to get more detailed in the event, but we'll just go that. And here we have like the segment. If you would have created it, I'll just leave it as all users. So this campaign would fire every single time, and it would only fire once whenever a person signs up the first time, rather than like if this one wouldn't make sense for every time. But let's say that you wanted to do like a sign in, then you would activate this campaign every single time a user signs into your app. I'm not sure what you would want to do that for, but you could if you wanted to. So just do once, and then so we'll just create the campaign. Once we create the campaign, now we can actually start creating these messages. Um, so I'll just make a plain one, and delay. I think I mentioned this again last time. We have a delay that if you want to, this would be immediate, but if you wanted to do like a
Mhm.
10-minute delay after the initial activation, like when people sign up, you want to wait 10 minutes afterwards to send them
Mhm.
a message. And then I have like I have a hot, like the personalization part of piece, like other platforms from if people are familiar with Shopify, we support the
Yeah.
liquid templating part of things. So here you could use user dot age if you had that as a user property. You can use it in the body, you can use it in the subject. And another thing that we added that is kind of unique, I would say, is we can also, like, for example, I said we have user events can fire this, right? Like here you can see that the sign in event
Mhm.
uh, will um, will be the one triggering this message.
Mhm.
So one thing that I'll open this up real quick, just so I can kind of copy the snippet that we use. But we also support the ability to use liquid templates and use the values um, from the event itself. So
Mhm.
it's kind of different. I'm just trying to pull this up real quick on another tab so I can show you.
Sure.
Um, so here, for example, here we go. So I'll just copy and paste from our documentation. So it's actually you're showing this message. So let's go back and let's say we want to do this again, and now we can do. There we go.
Mm.
So for example, this is just a text that we have in the documentation, but
Mhm.
like I mentioned, if we have a purchase event and it has a revenue as a property, we could say something like, "Hi, like hi user, hi, I have user dot first name. We're
Mhm.
confirming a purchase of $25." And you could use that by saying, here I have source event dot property. So in this case, for us, we could say something like um, purchase um, dot and then revenue,
Mhm.
and then that would automatically dynamically replace that, get the value for if someone purchased and they were at $576. Obviously, that's the value that would be pulled into this liquid template. and
Mhm.
and then in this, rather than just having like, oh, we're just going to pull in the name, the last name, the email, maybe a business value of some kind of business name. This will be truly dynamic in that whatever event is being fired, all the values are available for
Mhm.
that activation piece of things. um and this, I really want to do this just because it would be more even more targeted than just at the user level. but also the
That's-
event, what's actually happening.
mm.
So I'll stop there if you have any, if you want me to clarify anything or any other questions on that piece.
I'm
But I think,
sure.
go ahead.
There was actually a question that popped up earlier, and it's from Vince and Robert, and they were asking if there's any integrations we can do with another LTD SaaS.
We haven't really had any. Honestly, if you're looking for something like that, I'd love to get that submitted in our board uh,
Or,
for new integrations that we can see that there's a demand for. Right now,
mhm,
we have a Zapier as an integration. So I think
mhm,
if that LTD has a integration with a Zapier already, that would might work. If there's anything
mhm.
that isn't supported, then I love to have it in the board and just and add it as a request.
All right. All right. So that's something they could also look forward to in the future. So currently you have Zapier, right?
Yes, yeah,
All right.
and it's a big piece. So we have some stuff set up, but we'll be
Mm-hmm.
growing upon it and getting it more. But yeah, that integration is already available
Mm-hmm.
if you go to Zapier.com.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of I wanted to mention that because it is I'd say at least I'm not familiar with something that kind of like is able to give you that this kind of automation
Mm-hmm.
with templates like this. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know this is like the user dot first name is very general for a lot of automation platforms, but I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to mention this one. And this is all again in the top right. You can see a little question mark, and you can click on that, and
Yeah.
it'll take it to the knowledge base where this is. And another thing is like here, I think I don't know if I had I can send this to Parker. But this will if I click on this, I selected Parker as a test email.
That's a
I
test
can
email.
just
Yeah.
click. I can just click this, and it'll send it to. It won't send it to Parker. It'll send it to me, and it'll just show how it would look for Parker
Yeah.
if he received it,
Oh,
right?
okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So this will be allow you to test all these. Maybe you might like, for example, here I forgot the A. It would have sent that exact text, right? But now that
Mm.
if I test it, I can say, oh, I had a typo there. So
Oh,
we can
okay.
start.
All right.
So yeah, so we can, and then you can do all the just add pictures and whatever else you
Okay,
want to
so
do
it
with the
can
text.
detect an error right away. Like it'll tell you if an error is detected within the message.
Yeah, no. So for example, like I had the A missing, I think here, because it's not a real word. If I tested
Yes.
it and I got it in the email, it would literally say this. These little squiggly lines would still be there.
Yeah.
Everything would. But if I,
Oh,
so
okay.
if
All
I
right.
if I'm able to test, I can say, oh wait, I mean, in the future, I definitely want to have like some sort of like, um, like a little drop down that says, oh, these are all the available um short codes that you can use,
Yeah.
and rather than having to type it in, but we're still working on the UI part of
Yeah.
things, and right now we're focusing a lot on building out the functionality and the features. And then
Mm.
later on, we want to start going back and say, okay, now how can we clear it up? How can we make it a lot easier to use and automated and just
Yeah.
faster to get set up? So yeah, I would love to have like a little, event variables and user variables, and then click on
Yeah.
it and boom, it just automatically pulls this one in.
Yeah. But that's definitely
Um,
something that they can also look forward to in the future.
yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of
Yeah.
plans to like one, yeah, make it work, and another is to really be better and
Mm.
make it easier. So that's
Yeah.
that's part of things that I wanted to go over, and
Mm.
then that's the personalization part of things that I wanted to mention,
Mm.
I guess. And the other piece that I kind of mentioned already was the campaigns,
The campaign. Yes.
the campaign formats. So I'll just go real quick on this one. So one,
So there are two
we have
types
the
right now,
yeah right
correct?
now,
Okay, from what I can see. All
yeah.
right.
So right now we
Yeah.
have email and in-app. Later on, we're planning on adding SMS as
Mm.
another campaign format. So you would be able
Mm.
to do the exact same thing and do the liquid templates for SMS, and
Yeah.
then uh, maybe a little further down the line, push notifications.
Oh, great.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then and again, this is part of the the activation part of things where like you have cross channel messaging and not
Mm-hmm.
just email. It's not, and I'll mention this again, rather than thinking of it as a marketing automation platform, it's a customer engagement platform. That
Yeah.
part of it is marketing, but the other part of it is like the activation side of things where you can like really connect with the user through different channels, and in a very personalized way. What
Mm-hmm.
when you take advantage of all these events and the filtering down to pulling everything together. um
Yeah. So it's really like focusing on in the user journey, correct? Rather than it's like the marketing aspect. It's more on that.
yeah, for example, I actually wrote down a list of use cases. I'd say activation, nurturing, if all these terms make
Yeah.
sense. And reactivation, onboarding, marketing automation, engagement, purchasing, maybe
Mm-hmm.
post purchase, like after you want to see if you can increase your lifetime value. You want to
Mm-hmm.
activate it. Like for example, that example I made with users that have purchased over $500.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to do like a post purchase campaign for like a upsell or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I would say are like really targeted use
Yeah.
cases for this platform. Part of it is like the actual purchase part of piece, to increase your revenue, and the other part is
Mm-hmm.
to increase your engagement, your adoption, all those kinds of
Yeah.
things. Um,
All right.
so, and go ahead. I think something popped up for me. Was there?
Oh, nothing popped up on my
Uh,
end, but
I don't know
it
why.
didn't show up.
Uh, so yeah, so the campaign formats, like I said, is right now email, and then we just released an app um,
Mm,
this week, so it's very
yeah.
new. And then the campaign types that are the same thing, direct. So like a flow, like a direct flow, maybe like an onboarding sequence,
Mm-hmm.
maybe email drip campaign or something like that. We have the recurring. This is like again like a if you for whatever reason you want to send an email, the same message to a user every single time they sign in or purchase. Maybe that's a one you make more sense, like a receipt or something, if
Yeah.
you wanted to do something like that. And then an announcement is just like a blast, right? Just letting everyone know, oh,
Mm,
we just released something new, we have a new
mm,
offer, something like that.
yeah.
So we'll just stick to we'll just do recurring, and then we'll do an in-app and sign in again.
Mm,
um, so now we'll just do all users. um, we'll just create this campaign real quick. Add a message. Okay, so here we go. So in this case, I'll just do testing. Um, I'll just get creative and do that. And then we'll just add a picture. Okay, I mean, let's do this. So here we're building the little widget that's going to be popping up in the window, and then we'll just add more. I mean, we can do whatever we want here. Um,
mm.
yeah, so it really doesn't matter. I don't know what to write honestly, but I'll just do that, and then let's say you want to disable the button. We do want to have use it. I put learn more, and let's say you want to take them to a specific page.
Mm,
So like let's say this is I don't know, a special offer you want to send to a product page, for a new product that you use released. Again, yeah, like we're still, and then again, this is like where like you want this to display, maybe
mm,
bottom left here, bottom right, and then the center is just right in the middle of the screen.
mm,
And the same logic as the other messages. We can do a delay, or if you want to do like 1 hour, 1 hour after they sign in, for whatever reason, you can do that. And
mm,
then you just create the message, and then this will pop up for them when they sign in.
mm,
So yeah, that's the in-app messaging, in-app messages. I mean, um, so yeah, and I would love to hear feedback on like if there's anything we can do to improve it. But yeah, and again, this also supports the liquid templates, so we could
mm,
go ahead here and get really personalized and do the same thing and have the user dot first name or something like that. And then once this pops up for them, it'll actually have their name on it.
Um,
Um, yeah, so that's kind of the in-app messages right
mm,
now.
yeah. All right.
Let's see, what else did I have? Okay, cool. So this is, I guess, this covers kind of like the campaigns piece.
Yeah.
And then I can go into the um, boards.
Boards.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we go there. So this is kind of what I mentioned right now. I also
Oh,
kind of
with
wanted to.
Vincent's request earlier with integrations.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll go real quick on the public side of things
Mm,
to show so this is kind of where we have it on the top if you just go there.
mm,
So here you can you create a new submission if you want to like we have the tags like this is a feature request integrations. This probably would make sense to say I don't know Salesforce Salesforce integration,
mm,
and then we want I really don't know pull leads or contacts from
mm,
Salesforce
mm.
into Cloudmattr. And then you can just click, okay, well, we need a tag. This is probably integration, obviously. And you just create the submission. Um, just, there we go. It'll be somewhere here. Oh, there it is. Cool. So then, and then, people could, let's say we voted up. There we voted it. And then obviously the more people vote, the more, I'm sure that your user base wants it or there's more demand for it. So once we can get it in there, so now let's just refresh this and I should start seeing it. There it is. So on the admin side of things, it'll just come in, and I'll be able to get a notification like, oh, I uploaded it and I submitted it. But obviously, it would be whatever the update is there, and then from that part of things, we can click on this and see you start managing it through here. Where people start commenting on it. Maybe if there's like some sort of issue with the formatting of the initial user's post, we can clean it up if needed, or leave as is. You can assign it to an internal user. We can, and then this is kind of we can get it. We can, or this is going to be used for the racy reporting for you know um, it'll be more useful once we have the reporting or analytics piece available.
Oh, like
So right
what you
now this
mentioned
is kind of
before. Yeah.
yeah. So this is kind of like will be used there, but right now we don't have that available yet, so it won't be
Mm,
very useful as much right now.
mm-hmm.
But now that we have this, and let's pretend this is like super clean, the post is already, and then this is like oh yes, we definitely want to do this. Um, we have the roadmaps. So here let's go with the product roadmap here, and we're like okay, we're I kind of mentioned we're working on the checklist right now,
Yeah.
expecting it in next week.
Hmm.
So, and the analytics is
Yeah.
kind of what I mentioned is planned on to start working. But let's say that this one we actually want to plan it as well. We click on this and
Mm,
we're like, okay, well, Salesforce integration, add that one, done.
mm.
And then we can drag it, whatever. So it's looks it's a Kanban board, so like Trello or Asana or something like that. They
Exactly.
all it's just a Kanban board. But yeah, you
Mm,
can just drag it, whatever you want to do, and then from there you can, we'll go back to the public view, and then we can go to the roadmap,
mm.
and then it's right there. So users will be able to see, what are you working on, and we'll click on this. And again, right now we have, it doesn't have any real information there, but it would show the description, all that kind of stuff, images. You can embed
Mm,
videos if you wanted to like show, I don't know, let's say, oh, this I want it to look like this or something. I don't know. And then people can comment here. Um, so yeah, it'll be, and then we can reply to that
yeah.
as well. I'll just reply to myself. So yeah, so this is kind of what it would, people can start like saying, oh well, I don't
Yeah.
think it should. I don't think, maybe we can. It should also pull in opportunities and Salesforce and do this as well. I don't know. So this is, and then from, obviously only admins would be able to see the delete button here. But this is kind of like I think
Yeah,
would
what they
say like
see on there. Yeah.
yeah, on the user side of things, yeah, this is what it would look like. We
Mm,
have, obviously they're not going to be able to drag anything or edit anything, but they can see like, oh, this is the estimated date of release, which I think is like in next Friday. Yeah. Um, Obviously, if I can go back in there and change it if there's a holdup or something like that, but at least people
mm,
are aware of what's going on here. And again, this is all customizable on the admin side of things, but I think it's
mm.
very simple to use from a user's perspective um, into this. Yeah. So I don't know if you have any questions here.
I think so far, no, not really, because you've been really straightforward with it. So, it's really understandable.
And then and I just I can go in here and say, let's say another status, like I'm
Mm.
just gonna do something like this. Now if we go back and we go to the a roadmap,
It's just gonna show up there right away.
yeah, it'll be in there. I hope. So it's right there on the side. I don't think we need to use it though. It doesn't make any sense
I see.
because yeah, I mean, like, what am I gonna put in there? I'm just am I just gonna because I'm gonna forget. But notification, yeah, workspace settings. So remove it. There we go, and then update it. Um, Let me see if there's anything on boards or roadmaps. Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward, I would say for that piece. Again,
Mm.
checklist is something. Oh yeah, checklist is a part of things that why it's still there. Yeah, I don't know why it thinks it's an email
Who
field,
wants to stay
but
there?
yeah, it just keeps coming back. So for the knowledge base, I think I went over this pretty detailed as well, but
Mhm.
I'll go over real quick on this again. Let's go with this one. So yeah, so in this case, you can uh, build whatever you want here. The knowledge bases. So again, it's very straightforward. You can add whatever you want here. Um,
Mm.
and I don't know how else. It's just a basic Word document if you want to think about it, right? There's nothing
Mm.
too complicated about it. Um, you can add video, you can add images, you can add code. You can even use what's called LaTeX or Kotek for like any like math formulas if you really wanted to.
Mm.
Um, and again, you can resize picture. I mean, yeah. So this is like again, this is a straightforward knowledge base for users. You can have private and public knowledge bases. So this is a public one for our users to use. But let's say we wanted to have like a internal a manual.
Mm.
You could do something like that. So we can go to the knowledge bases, and then we can create a new one. And then here, you have public and private. We could
Oh,
have a
okay.
private, and this would be like a user manual or new employee manual or something like that. And then
Mm.
this would only be available for
The
people
employee
that
or the person. Yeah.
for people internal workspace
Mm.
users or employees, yeah, rather than like the users that come in when when you add them through the API or
Mm.
something like that.
Mm.
So it is flexible in that way. And then so yeah, so I think that's kind of one of the things I did want to mention is that we have private and public ones. Other than
Mm.
that, it's a straightforward, easy to use knowledge base. Um,
Mm.
and then I kind of wanted to go over back. I mentioned all these user properties, all these events, and all that kind of stuff, and that's kind of what we have. All
Yeah.
these like if we go here, we can. Well, I was that myself because I use a lot of stuff. So here we go. So here we have me, and then we have
Mm.
my ID. It's not private, so it doesn't really matter. How many posts I have and how many votes. This is all. So this is custom properties that we track, right? Like obviously not like not another business wouldn't be tracking how many votes someone is doing, but that's just for us. But if you have if you're like, let's say Slack, you probably want to have like uh, messages, how many messages you sent, how many workspaces you're in, or something. Obviously, we have it
Yeah,
here
it
as
really
well. I
puts
mean,
the
three of them.
data there. Yeah.
Yeah, like all the user specific. But let's say you're a, Walmart, you might want to like have LTV, a number of purchases, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then here on the side is we have the activities of all the events that I've that I've done. So right now you saw me doing all
Oh,
this right now.
okay.
You saw me
So it
create
really
a
records
submission.
everything.
Yes, exactly. So this is
Okay.
what we're going to be using for building out user journeys, user journey reporting. So for here we can see, okay, we have these two custom properties of board name and submission title. And you saw me, I made it. This is the Salesforce one I made.
Yeah.
Um, I commented on it. Where did I comment? So this is going to be useful for all future when we have reporting. We'll be able to break down the data in all these sorts of things.
Mm.
Again, I upvoted it, I created it, and then you saw me. I created the campaign as well. We don't really passing anything for that right now. But so some of them will have if you choose to do it. If not, it won't be there. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, it'll track it. It'll track whatever you send it to, right? And then here in the
Mm.
blue, you can see what where it came from. For example, this is an internal event that as long as you're a user of Cloudmatter, it'll track your user automatically.
Yeah.
But if like let's say, for example, this is coming through the API for us, if like you have your own, you connect your website or your app to a Cloudmatter's API, then it would come up as API, and then
Mm.
it'll some of the clicks should be as yep, right here. You see how I had mentioned, if you click on the left side, it'll be the dashboard text right there, and then that's what
Mm.
it's being tracked as a SDK, like JavaScript SDK, and it's a menu click event.
So the time that you click the one of the options on the side of the screen, it also shows up.
Yeah, the time and the date.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty detailed here, and then subscribe if or unsubscribed if they unsubscribe from your campaign from your emails. Obviously, if they
Oh,
unsubscribe, it won't send them anything anymore.
so this data could also be seen in the future data and analytics part that you mentioned. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. The whole point is
Oh,
right now to collect it, and then once we have the you saw in the roadmap, we have it planned to start
yeah.
after we complete the checklist and some of the new features. And then once we have all the data available and tracking correctly, then the
Mm.
whole goal is to really start leveraging the data so you can like improve on it and use it
Yeah.
to plan campaigns, to
Yeah.
plan it, different things to do. We even
Oh,
like one of the other events that we track through Cloudmatter is on the knowledge base. I forgot to mention, and I can kind of go over real quick as oh, it opens it in a new tab. Let me just open this up real quick first, and
sure.
then I can pull it in. But we also, one of the things that uh, you can see it. It should update.
There you go.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
on the screen.
So you see on the bottom right, we also track this. So let's say people say, they don't like if this wasn't helpful. Um,
Mm.
this will come in as an event as well, and you'll be able to use it for all your campaigns. So we would be able to see like the article name. Let's say it's Salesforce integration. Um, you can create campaigns. For example, let's say you want to do a campaign for um, people that are not satisfied with your documentation, right? You'd be
Mm.
able to create one. You would be able to like get that as an event to come in that's being tracked, so you can do reporting on like, oh, what's lacking or what can we improve on our side. But you could
Mm.
also use it to activate campaigns like um, unsatisfied users as a segment,
Mm.
and then from there use that segment to try to
Further
not
improve.
activate, not activate, but like reach out to them and build a, send out an email or a sequence like, oh, how can we help? What do you need help with? Anything like that.
Mm,
So the whole
right,
point is
right.
to really integrate the entire um, every point that you can connect with a user into one,
Yeah,
into one place so you can really, yeah, help them. Um,
right,
I'm
right.
just opening this up real quick, and then yeah, one of the other things is like, in the campaigns here for the since we're on the topic of analytics, we can go back here and say, okay, this is a purchase campaign.
Mm,
I don't know why yeah, let's just call it that. And then it's coming from there. And then this is let's say, you want to have like a sequence to try to like, a newsletter or something like that, where you have a new offer or something like that. So we just call it that. And then we just want to fire it on weekdays.
mm,
And then we want to do it whenever they create a knowledge base. But that, I mean, let's pretend we're, yeah, like for Cloudmattr, we're a SaaS.
mm,
We wanna send out a trial to conversion campaign whenever we notice that knowledge bases are created for whatever reason.
mm.
Um, One of the things that we have here is an optional thing. It's a goal, so you can create a goal or a conversion goal. So let's say obviously for us it's subscription, and now we would be able to like create this and the same things that I already went over, right? Like all users,
Mhm.
or new. I could make new users and exclude subscriptions.
Yeah.
Like subscribers, I mean, I could exclude them from this
Oh,
campaign.
okay.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that part. So we could
Yeah,
make a
I see it now.
yeah, a subscribers segment, and maybe for any activation campaigns, we would just want to make sure we exclude them.
Yeah.
Or obviously depends on how you want to like the logic. Maybe you want to just you make a new subscribers or new users only, and you're doing it there already. But you can also exclude people here. And then from
Yeah.
here, we would be able to create it and get conversion rates.
Mm,
So you can like really see how your campaigns are performing if you,
mm,
towards a goal. So let's say we have 10 people in the campaign. Out of the 10 people,
mm.
only five actually even saw the or even opened the email. Obviously, we don't want to include
Yeah.
people that didn't even see it. But let's say five people
Mm,
saw the email, they opened it, and then out of the five people that opened it, one
mm,
purchased, well then our conversion
mm,
rate would be 20%, right? Um,
mm,
so that's kind of the way we have these goals is to really track and get the numbers to see where your how your campaigns are performing.
mm.
Yeah, and then I think I don't know if you want I went over this all before for the details on how to configure your account. I don't know if you want me to if you want to
I
go over that again or if you have
I mean, if you
questions.
just want to show it briefly, just so that people will rewatch this can see it, just like
Sure.
really briefly.
So I can go over the other ones like edit profile. I don't think we need to. So so here you can add your workspace name. That's going to be the one that shows up in the dropdown. For the business name, really these are all fields that if you want to include them in the in the in the short codes and the liquid templates, you can, but not
Mm,
required. Here in this side is the custom domain. For example, for us we use cloudmatter.com.
mm,
But if you want to use something like if it was a separate company, you wanted to use like um, you know customers dot I don't know Tesla.com, do something like that, and then you would set it up through your DNS, and we have
mm,
all that documentation already available, so you can set this up. But yeah, we're on Tesla, so we'll just go back, and then statuses I already kind of covered it. This is for it being able to add your Google Analytics tracking ID, or if you're using GA4, your measurement ID. So this will and then this would automatically load up GA whenever people are on your knowledge base, they're on your boards, they're on your
mm,
roadmap and all that kind of stuff. So this
mm,
is really useful, and it'll send all that data back to your GA. Um, And then here, the default page is like really if anyone, like for example, goes to cloudmatter.cloudmatter.com, where do we want to like redirect them to? If you want to have like
Mm-hmm.
a landing page, I guess you'd call it for your not for your workspace, this is kind of where you would just select it. And then the navigation color is really what's going to show on the top nav bar to your users, and then your logo. And if you want your favicon, like the little thing that shows on the tab. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and one other thing is the SMTP. So this is kind of where you would set it up. Again, the email. Um, so yeah, the SMTP is where you set all this up, and then you save it or update it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very straightforward. I'm sure people are using an SMTP. They'll have all this available, whatever server they have using. Um, Let me go here, and then do. Yeah, I guess we can go over real quick just adding user. You can just add an email there, and then what role you want to give them. Right now, we just support an admins and then editors. The person that actually creates the workspace itself, they
Mm-hmm.
get the special role of owner, which are no one can remove them, and they're the owner of the role, but you can't give that role to someone unless they created it and they own it. Um, that way, admins can remove admins, but admins can never remove an owner, and that's just
Yeah.
to make sure that someone doesn't invite someone and they get removed. So and then
Yeah.
editors are just people that are hello. I think you cut off Shannon.
Really sorry. My my battery went off for the other camera.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry. I had to. My camera heated up pretty fast.
okay, no problem. I was like, I'm
Sorry.
talking to myself here. Uh,
Sorry.
okay, so yeah, so and then the editors can do everything really except for access any of the billing, anything really, that deleting anyone, stuff like that. And we go over this in the documentation, like what role can exactly do what in the platform. Um, and then the API keys, I I didn't want to open it because it shows my private
Yeah, your
API
information.
keys.
All right. I think
But
people understand that.
yeah, it's pretty simple. It's the APIs for the to set up, Cloud Matter. I
Mhm.
can go over it in the documentation if that helps, since I already have it already ready.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be a real quick thing that I can go over. And then I think this one is just really like the all the emails you can send emails to users from.
Mhm.
I can do. Let's say we want to do it from. I think last time I did hello, yeah, hello
Mhm.
at cloudmatter.com. Let's say, and this is like the um, I don't know, how Cloudmatter for whatever reason you want to call it that. And then you'll create the sender. You'll get the email to verify this, and then once it's verified, it'll be available to be used as a sender to your users. The domain's the same thing. You have to verify your domain, um, and you can verify through your DNS again. So you would just create a new domain, and let's say you have like you know cloudmatter.com and cloudmatterapp.com. You want to use either one of those domains to send out your emails, you could do that. Um, and then yeah, billing and routine. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the only thing I wanted to go over real quick is the API keys, which I can go over
Mhm.
in the knowledge base. Um, so yeah, let's see where can we get that. Actually, I think it's in the API. Yeah,
Okay.
here we go. Yeah, so here I just kind of went over like which one should you use of is it server side or client side, but here's kind of what I wanted to go over is the API key. So here, I showed that you click on API key, and then you have to whitelist a domain. So for example, so you don't get any spam.
Mm.
traffic, you just click on the new API key. You'll put your name, so cloudmatter.com, and then domain cloudmatter.com or Saastronautics.com. That way, people from
Mm.
can get your script and then start running it from some spammy site and start sending fake data, right? So this will only accept
Right.
data from a certain domain, and then you'll get your script that you can add to GTM or your site
Mm.
itself, whatever you want to do, and then start sending data that way. Or you have the so you'll have the private key if you want to send it through an API. I kind of black them out here, and then the public key is kind of what the JavaScript, the GTM, the client side tracking is. And then
Mm.
here I kind of like went over like all the available things you can do, and then I even have a tutorial here on how to set it
Mm.
up with GTM,
Mm.
and this is the exact same process I did to set it up for Cloudmatter ourselves. And I think that's the one that think was missing really. And yeah, I think, and then I can kind of like moving forward, I have the roadmap here that
Yeah.
what we're working on, what we're planning. Here, like I said, we want to focus a lot on the performance side of things, like on
Mm.
segment, seeing how segments are performing, um, the user journey reporting, anything like that. Really, that's focused on the user itself.
Mm.
I'll remove this one later. But and then the rest are like I mentioned, push notifications is one of the things that we're kind of thinking about, as well as SMS.
Mm.
Um, and then again, if anything is something that people want, again, you just there's a feature request here board, and you can
Yeah.
just submit whatever you want, and can be voted up. And I obviously I would review and see what's something that makes sense for our vision, for the future that can provide value for everyone. And then once we can, I can add that in review, and then actually once we have it in plan is when we're actually gonna um, um, put it in one of our sprints so we can release it
Yeah.
in the future. Yeah, I think
Great. I think
that's all I have.
that covers everything really. I mean, even just going through everything and making sure that everything's clear, that was really helpful. And I really get that it's just, it's more on like customer engagement platform, and it's not only like a marketing automation platform. So everything
Yeah.
is really customizable and centralized.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I can I can mention that. Again, I mentioned those use cases. One of them is marketing automation. Email. You could say email marketing or something like that is part
Mm.
of it. But again, uh, email was just the first touch point, or the first
Mm.
channel, if you call it that. But
Hmm.
again, we just added in-app. We want to add SMS. We want to add push, so we can like
Hmm.
cover everything really. So it is definitely not an email marketing, or
Hmm.
I don't want you to think of it as only an email marketing
Yeah, of
tool.
course. Not only
and
that.
and and it has more things on that. And again, we're making it sure, a lot of the what I mentioned is revolving around the user, and that's why dynamic segmentation is so important. So we whatever happens in the app, whatever happens to your user, they move around from segment to segment. That way, you're sending
Hmm.
the right information to the right user, no matter what, and you're not keeping track of like, oh, I wonder if Aaron has, if Aaron purchased something. We want to make sure to update that, and make sure that
Hmm.
um, and making sure that it's updated in our lists. The whole
Yeah.
point is automation, right? So if it moves from one place to the other, I want it to be automatically being done rather than you having to always go back in there and do it.
Hmm.
Um,
Great.
and again, the collection part of the piece is where like all the different channels or different ways that you can send data is really easy. If you want to only use Zapier to use Cloudmatter, you can
Hmm.
do that. Obviously, it's different than like it's not going to be as closely integrated as like the API or JavaScript SDK, since let's say a lead comes in, with an email and then maybe
Hmm.
first and last name. If the
Mm-hmm.
user does creates a board or something like that, that's obviously not going
Mm-hmm.
to be available anywhere. If they change names or something like that, you have to like Zapier has to send it back, right? But with the
Yeah.
API, we want to make sure it's dynamically all the way every time like a user alters their name, it's already changed in Cloudmatter, and everything's
Mm-hmm.
being like automatically. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Automatically being done
Yeah.
um, at all points. And whenever the checklist um, feature comes out, I definitely want to. I'll send out. I'll let you guys know so we can like
Of
at least
course.
um, uh, maybe I can do a post on the group and show what it's looking like and a quick little overview so we can
Of
since
course.
I
Yeah.
know this is something that some people have had asked, and I think it's one of the another thing, like I guess you could say another touch point, but within the site to get people to use your website or your app or whatever you need them
Yeah,
to do.
most definitely. Because I know that, we're gonna have another webinar on this and you're gonna showcase all the updates. And I know that a lot of people will look forward to that because especially the ones who are using Cloud Matter now, and of course the ones who are planning to get Cloud Matter. And I like how you really emphasize on the user journey and that it's not only a marketing automation platform, which is, a really good point to bring up. It's really the engagement with the customers and what you could do with the data that you have.
Yes, it's incredibly flexible, so it applies to many use cases. And again,
Mm.
one of those use cases is the marketing automation, apart from other things. Yes,
All right. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for, giving us your time today and, answering everything, even if it's just, through small questions, you were able to clarify on all the features you have and what is in store for Cloud Matters. So if anyone has questions for Erin, of course, just, bring it over to him and in the community as well, because I know that he will be more than happy to help you with your concerns with Cloud Matter. And of course, thank you so much, Erin, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate the time that you spent with us. And if you guys want to check out the deal, it's of course on our deal page. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you so much, Erin.
yeah. Thanks,
Bye.
Shannon.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.